Anna, I have recently had a contact with a Scientologist through personal emails. I opened up and talked with her as if she was my friend. I've received a printed letter per post from a Scientologist who's responsible for recruiting a few days later. He wrote me that he noticed I was in contact with his colleague, so he thought maybe I would like to join Scientology. I wrote her many different reasons why I am not interested in Scientology anymore. I also sent her a link to your blog, and she just replied me, "This link which you sent me just represents a criminal. I can see he has bad intentions. Scientology has saved my life." Does Scientology have the right to check members' personal emails, or can I assume it was harassment? Well, this is an interesting question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure from the way you're writing this if the Scientologist you were initially in touch with was a staff member or just a regular public Scientologist. It's very possible that, regardless of whether it was a staff member or a public Scientologist, let's say that you were first in touch with somebody named Sally. Okay, so it's very possible that Sally went to her local church organization and told them about you and said, I'm now in touch with somebody who wants to know more about Scientology and I'm not really sure what to do. And so that Sally gave your name and number to the church, and then they had somebody in the church start contacting you who knows what they're doing, right? And then you answered back with, a link to my blog. Good. And of course they responded that I'm a criminal because anyone, according to the church's policies, anyone who talks the way I do about Scientology has to have real world crimes and be a criminal. Otherwise we wouldn't be criticizing Scientology the way that we are. And this is not hyperbole or exaggeration. They really say and think that anyone who criticizes Scientology the way that I do is a criminal. So they can't afford to let themselves listen to what I say or give any credence to anything that I'm talking about or give me the time of day because I'm just a criminal, right? So that's how Hubbard branded any critic of Scientology, and that's the mind control that goes on so that Scientologists will not listen to anything anti-Scientology. Fortunately, most people have a brain and they realize that just can't be true with the number of people who have spoken out about Scientology. We can't all be criminals. And they then, see problems going on with the organization and then they give us a listen and start, seeing that what we're talking about is actually very, very true. Okay, so that's one scenario, and is probably the most likely one is that the first person you were talking to referred the organization to you. Scientology staff and the Sea Org do not have access to every Scientologist's personal emails. That would be crazy, and Scientologists wouldn't stand for that. That's just no public Scientologist would be okay with that. If a public Scientologist, let's say, Joe Blow, Scientologist, gets in ethics trouble at his church for something related to emails, like let's say he gets in trouble for talking with somebody like me, a suppressive person, right? In such a case as that, a specific case like that, the church will ask that person, okay, I want to see your emails, right? And the Scientologist would be expected to turn over his password and turn over his email address to the ethics officer so the ethics officer could check his emails out, right? But that would be a specific case of a specific Scientologist who's in trouble because of something like that. As a general rule, Scientologists don't turn over their email accounts to the Church of Scientology. And as a general rule, the Church of Scientology does not intrude into the personal email accounts of their parishioners. So I think my explanation is probably the most likely for what happened to you.